No, this is VR though. It's not keyboard and mouse, so it can be different.
That's
Don't be
right.
afraid of South Korea.
Well, that's right.
Not yet.
South Korea, a very strong esports region, but Australia becoming stronger and stronger by the day. And so let's actually get into this.
Yeah.
We've got Rimmy, who is going to be representing Australia. He's playing the U.S. Armor Division, represented there by Beaumont. And on the other side, we've got a mirror matchup. Beaumont being played by MC Rena from South Korea.
All right, so we have that mirror match. We've seen a lot of mirror matches yesterday throughout NA and EU qualifications, and some of these mirror matches can prolong and be very long games because they do the same thing, they defend the same way. So we'll see what happens here if they will try to bring out a different kind of strategy. But for now, both of our players have that artillery in the middle at that upper hill.
Yeah, now one big moment there was that Rimmy actually targeted his artillery on Rena's artillery first, while Rena's artillery was targeting the wave. And so it's a free artillery kill already for Rimmy. Not a big deal, but it is going to help him entrench that position on the high ground, overlooking the sole solitary lane on this map.
All right, exactly as you say. Rena being one of her artillery being destroyed, she had to pull out another one, which is kind of wasting money compared to Rimmy, who originally pulled out two and still has the two artilleries still alive.
Right, but when you have to deal with artillery, one of the biggest ways to do that is the Air Force. We already start to see some planes in production from both of our players. Now, you got to be careful early on because they're not very strong individually, but let's find out what's in store for those planes.
All right, as well, Rimmy already has two infantry troop trucks down, whereas Rena only has one down. So slowly but surely, Rimmy will definitely get a lot more foot soldiers stacking up.
Now look at what we just saw right there. A crate dropped right on top of MC Rena's Jeep, had it there waiting to pick up the extra money, which will help her tech up to hire better units.
All right, we'll see how fast she unlocks her second and her third. Right now we see the planes unlocked already in the secondary division here. We'll see when they start producing the anti-tanks at the third division where it's the most expensive units.
Yeah, right. And anti-tank guns were really kind of the theme of yesterday. Oh, look at this. It's actually Rimmy using those two tiny Jeeps to take out the artillery off to the side. Beautiful usage of those small, cheap units to take out the very impactful artillery.
All right, so the middle lane fight, as I said, this Chateau Tod only has one main lane in the middle, as you guys can see. They are busy deploying, trying to take control over the main lane with the artillery and the anti-tank guns that you see from Rimmy here.
These anti-tank guns are really going to define this matchup. They did it yesterday, and I think they're going to do it again today. They're just firing right back and forth at each other, but it looks like MC Rena's anti-tank gun will be the first to fall, and there it goes.
All right, well, this is the perk of, pulling out the anti-tank gun first, deploying it first, and it got the first shot off, which means they were, taking and giving fire to each other. But MC Rena's anti-tank gun goes down first. Nothing crucial happening yet, no tower damage, other than Rena actually just taking that first supply to get that extra money.
Yeah, but we are starting to see our players continue to tech up, and one of the things that comes with that tech is potentially some of these really high-powered, endgame units. The Calliope artillery is really the big dog that we should be maybe watching for. We haven't seen too many of those because anti-tank guns are so impactful, but we might see that here in the near future. So just something to keep an eye out for as we just watch these anti-tank guns kill everything.
Yeah, so unfortunately in this game, killing the foot soldiers, as you guys may kind of relate to other games where, you kill the foot soldiers, the basic units, you may get some extra money. In this game, that's not how it works. So, all of these units that are just dying, unfortunately, in the middle of the lane by the artilleries, they're not giving any money. But, Rimmy's anti-tank gun is actually reaching MC Rena's towers. You can see one of the towers going down slowly.
Yeah, you can also see this dogfight with the fighters in the air going up against each other. That's what our observer's showing us here. And it's very important to micro your airplanes. Airplanes are what, if you want to put a lot of control into, you can get a lot of value out of. Because if you just leave them by themselves, they kind of fly in circles and might not do very much. But if you control them, you get a lot of value out of them and can win these fights. And MC Rena's doing a great job with that.
Oh, but look at this, Rimmy's hill. We have 7 tank Shermans stacked up in Rimmy's base coming out now to take over this ridge, opposing Rimmy, where she has all her artilleries set up. So if Rimmy gets through this choke here, this is going to be trouble for MC Rena.
Oh, but it looks like a lot of the artillery fire is actually taking out Rimmy's tanks. And with all these tanks going down, will he be able to take control of this location? One tank survives, but he's not moving it. The artillery looks like it will take it out in the end.
All right, well, good defense by MC Rena. She definitely wants to keep hold on that area to constantly create room for her to save up money and produce stronger units, because you see Rimmy's foot soldiers are actually getting past pretty far, all the way up to MC Rena's base, rather, right in front of that hill.
Well, MC Rena's base is being chipped down by this anti-tank gun, but we actually have our first Calliope artillery on the way. That thing is so expensive. I think it's about 28 bucks that it costs, which isn't actually that expensive. I got 28 bucks in my pocket, but in the game, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
It's very fragile, but it deals an incredible amount of damage. And the only thing we're really missing here is some anti-air, because that position is so entrenched, and that's the only thing that Rimmy needs to control, because he's chipping away at these turrets, about to take his second one down.
All right, well, like you say, the second tower is in danger for MC Rena. We'll see how she decides to act.
We've actually got our crocodile tank out here as well, breathing its flaming fire. It's so tanky, 1,000,000,000,000 armor on that thing, basically indestructible at this point. You're gonna watch it tank up these artillery shots, and yeah, it'll take a little bit of damage, but look at it just plow through everything. The entire position that MC Rena had set up there, completely destroyed.
Yeah, it's destroyed, and as I said, if that area, if that choke was taken over by Rimmy, it just allows Rimmy to kind of set up on MC Rena's side of the base, which is going to cause a lot of trouble. But now she knows that it's if she prolongs this, it's going to be dangerous. So she's trying to bring out the units. She's trying to bring the fight to him. Look at all these tanks come out.
Yeah, this is the big movement, but she hasn't had control of the high ground.
Yeah.
And so everything she builds has to run this gauntlet of artillery shots. And look at this Calliope. It's firing raining bombs down on everything, exploding. Rimmy, he's got complete control of this area.
Yeah, MC Rena bringing out the anti-air. She doesn't want that to go in the front, and I think she should pull it back. If she keeps running it over, tanks can't run over people in this game, unfortunately.
Well, you're correct there. So these are the safety tanks that we have right here, but they're still just as devastating.
We have the sponge wheels.
That's right. That's right. They have nice bright colors and rounded edges. These are not the scary tanks that you might think of, but they are actually very scary in game. And what's happening in game is basically that Rimmy has such a strong position with those anti-tank guns. He's overtaken these high ground with these tiny Rommel tanks and with the Sherman tanks, and he's got artillery now set up there, which makes it so difficult for MC Rena to move out on the map.
Yeah, exactly. We have 6 Sherman tanks coming from Rimmy, but you also have to notice that now Rimmy has 4 infantry troop trucks producing extra units, whereas MC Rena only has 2 on her side. So just the basic foot soldiers being produced on either side. MC Rena is already on the backside.
Yeah, it's important because those control how quickly your waves push. Look here at the crate there right in the middle. Who's going to be the one to pick that up? It's a lot of money at this point in the game, but it doesn't look like either person is able to send a unit there just quickly. You can't pick it up with just basic troops. You have to send a unit there to pick it up.
Yeah, the basic troop waves are way too small. That supply crate is way too big, so they can't hold it. But yeah.
They can't pick it up.
Yeah, they can't.
It's too big for their tiny arms.
Exactly. But maybe when they stack up to like 100 units, maybe they can work together like ants.
This is small soldiers all over again. But anyway, back to the game. It seems like Rimmy has really taken a major lead here. He's got a lot of this high ground. He continues to push down the lanes. His anti-tank fire is completely devastating. And how is MC Rena going to try to come back from this?
Yeah, she definitely has to do something about these high ground tanks that Rimmy has placed and stored for MC Rena after taking over her side of the corridor, or choke rather, and she has to take it back. MC Rena has to take this area back on your screen right now, because this is her side of the high grounds where she needs to put her anti-tanks plus her artillery to get in control of the lane.
One of the biggest mistakes that you can make when you play this game is just to send all of your units into the lane over and over again, because then they push in and die. But what Rimmy is doing, he's actually not sending very many of his units to the lane at all. He's keeping them all on this high ground in these entrenched positions to build up a little bit of an advantage, little by little. And now that's given him a 3-tower advantage, and I think he's about to take his 4th here if this push keeps up.
Yeah, if you notice the troop size, we have 69 versus 19. Rimmy already has 7 trucks producing infantry units here, and that's just gonna overwhelm MC Rena even with the basic foot soldiers here.
Yeah, now, you know, if you were playing an infantry commander, then that would give you a lot more diversity as far as infantry goes. But even just the basic troop trucks keep these waves stacking up more and more and more. And that's given Rimmy such a huge advantage. Saw a little bit of a dogfight there. He's also got the air advantage 3-0. And there's really just not too many advantages Rimmy doesn't have at this point.
Yeah. Rimmy, you know, I'm not even gonna say how many units he has. You guys can see for yourselves. But he's just mass producing everything, even the basic units. He's just gonna overwhelm MC Rena with just all kinds of units in front of her base.
Rimmy tried a little bit of a cute tactic there, running a bunch of jeeps through behind enemy lines. Didn't work. Those are those flaming piles of debris on the ground. So yeah, maybe don't try that one at home, but definitely try the rest of these strategies at home because they're super effective.
All right, well, this anti-tank has been causing MC Rena trouble from the start, from the get-go. That anti-tank, I think, is probably the first one that
still
really
the
made.
same one alive, yeah. It's a good day to be an anti-tank driver. You get to live a long time. So let's keep an eye on what Rimmy's strategy is going to be for closing this out. He moves the Calliope artillery in and is able to use it devastating damage on the artillery on the other side.
Yeah, and as the observers show us, you can see where these players are actually looking by looking at, you know, the soldiers in front of you. And Rimmy is in front of MC Rena's base and, you know, just deploying everything, rallying all his units to right in front of her base. And MC Rena, you can see her character in her base trying to produce everything or anything to defend her base.
Now, these flamethrower tanks are very, very effective against infantry, but they're not very effective against artillery. So they get blown up pretty quickly by that Calliope, and so there's still a massive wave of units here. 94 infantry on the board for Rimmy.
All right, well, so many units. All those infantry units just attacking the tower. Yeah, it does not do as much damage as, you know, tanks or heavy tanks or artillery, but with this much unit being produced, Rimmy, he has nothing to lose. He can just constantly send chip down slowly, and MC Rena's last tower finally goes down.
That means it's only the base left here, so MC Rena really back up against the wall. These troops continue to push in over and over again, and look at that Calliope, just crazy damage from incredible range.
All right, well, all those Sherman tanks that MC Rena produced for her last line of defense is going down one by one. She had 5, now 2 of them are down. We have 6 Sherman tanks from Rimmy, probably saving up for one last attack.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any way to deal with this. The base hasn't taken damage yet, but it's only a matter of time until this massive infantry advantage pushes through. Maybe the defense will hold here, but for how long, right? This is going to give it complete map control to Rimmy, so he can bring all of his forces as close as he wants and set up an almost insurmountable advantage.
Exactly, and now Rimmy's units are starting to attack MC Rena's command center. This health is going down slowly but surely. What is MC Rena to do here?
I think the answer is to think about what to do in the next game. Because we are about to go there. This base is just taking so much damage. There is a little bit of a rubber band effect at work here where your units pop up and you have the defender's advantage because they just get there faster. You've also got some anti-air here, which will stop the fighters from coming through. And so the tanks are going to build up little bit by little bit. But I don't even think that is going to give her enough time to hang on, because if Rimmy just focuses this base, I think it's just going to go down.
All right, well, like you said, Rimmy, the backup units, even though he has a lot, is taking a little bit of time to come, whereas MC Rena is just constantly producing, but we have the base artillery hitting MC Rena's base right straight away.
Yeah, it's not really to deal damage to the base itself, but mostly just to clear out all of the units there. It decimates the forces. There's about 1/10 of them left. And even though there's a few more Shermans popping out, I mean, those aren't really going to be able to save the base. It's going down lower and lower, and in the end, Rimmy is going to take game number 1.